Hello and welcome back to another episode of cedh bling builds. Today I guess we'll do a little bit of a throwback to a classic, right? The First Sliver, arguably the best sliver general, only because he makes for a really good food chain deck. Now, what's a food chain deck? A food chain deck is a deck that uses the enchantment food chain to generate infinite mana of every color to cast creatures only. And so you want to be able to infinitely cast your commander at that point to do a thing, right? To do a thing. Actually, let me show you some examples of different food chain commanders. Hold on one second. We'll go over examples of some food chain commanders that I own. There's a million of them. So we have Khazar and Uktima. We're in Sultai colors, but essentially you just want to get your food chain out and infinitely cast the Ukima to just like pew pew everybody on the board. Easy peasy. The next one we can do is something like a Luna. And the way a Luna wants to work is by, I don't remember, when you mutate. Oh god, so it's like extra step. And whenever it mutates, exile creatures, put it onto the battlefield. Okay, so you just, again, want to keep, well, this is extra step, right? Because you have to mutate it. So you're going to create the infinite creature mana from your food chain creature, and then infinitely mutate onto it. Oh my god. But anyway, I think you just want to eventually find like a Jace or something, right? The lab Jace, and do a thing. You have the Omnath, right? Both the 4-color Omnath and 3-color Omnath. 3-color Omnath wants to pew 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 everything on the board. 4-color Omnath wants to draw the deck. There's so many food chain commanders, and to a degree, a Corvold could be built as a food chain commander too. I don't like that build. That's a circa 1984 build, but there are better ways to build Corvold, but it is an option. But nonetheless, we're going to go over the best food chain deck there for Sliver. You just cascade into a win-con. Easy peasy, right? Just cast Sliver about 45 billion times for the win. So I'll go over food chain slowly, because I understand food chain might be new, right, for you, and so I'll be sensitive towards that. So we have First Sliver. No two arts. There are no two arts for this. There's just this and the awful retro foil. So food chain is a 2 and a green enchantment where you exile a creature you control to add X mana of any one color, where X is 1 plus the exiled creature's CMC. And then you can spend that mana only to cast a creature spell. So if you exile a stack of a 3 CMC to food chain, you're going to get 4 mana of any one color to then cast a creature. So if you could somehow cast a creature from exile, then you can create infinite mana of every color to cast only creatures. Of course, you'll cast the First Sliver, she'll cascade, and you sank into the food chain and just keep going and going and going. And cascading, you don't necessarily need to play that card. You just put it to the bottom and try your luck again. So let's go over through some of the food chain creatures. In the game, there are 3 food chain creatures that I know of, right? As to date. The first one is Eternal Scourge. It's a 3-drop, and you can cast it from exile. Easy peasy. A better one is Squeak, the Immortal. For 1 and 2 red, again, you can cast it from exile, or you can cast it from your graveyard. This is a little bit more versatile if it somehow gets sent to the graveyard, through a wheel or something like that. Maybe you just entomb it, and that's very easy peasy. Yeah, it's also legendary, so you could, I guess, like search for Gloriate or something like that. Like, options, or 5 colors. And then, even though I'm not playing it in this deck, it's fallen out of favor. We have Mist Hollow Griffin. Again, you may cast it from exile. Very simple, very simple. But those are your food chain creatures. Very important, and as important as the food chain creatures, you also have all these food chain creature buried alives, right? Like a Foresight. You search your library for any 3 cards and remove them from the game. Shuffle your library, and then don't forget to draw at the beginning of the next upkeep. Same thing with Manipulate Fate. Search your library for any 3 cards, remove from the game, and shuffle your library. And then you immediately draw a card. Gotta give the foil treatment. And then Extract for 1 single blue sorcery. Search your target player's library for a card and remove it from the game. That player shuffles his or her library. So, Extract is a great card for your food chain decks, but it's also like an unusual tech card, right? Unusual tech card to exile a key piece from your opponent's deck. Right? They have the one Titan that your mill strategy just can't climb over. Then extract it away. And since we're 5 colors, we're in really important colors to do Jeskai combos. Red, white, and blue, which gives us access to an unbeatable intuition pile, which is, of course, Underworld Breach, Lion's Eye Diamond, and the Savines Reclamation. Unbeatable because you give it to whichever opponent, and it's a win. You get whatever you want. They're just going to give you the LED probably. And then a Brain Freeze. Brain Freeze has nice synergy with Jeskai, Underworld Breach lines. And it's like a win condition sometimes. The storm count is not very high for you to not have infinite, because there is no infinite in the Underworld Breach loop. You'll eventually run out of fuel. Maybe you hit your Underworld Breach loop quicker. Oh my God! Wow, I haven't played this. Wow, I haven't played this deck since Underworld Breach was released. That might be crazy, right? You might find an Underworld Breach loop way before you find your food chain, but it's all good because you could exile to pay the escape cost. You can exile a food chain creature, cast it, and then also play your food chain from the graveyard. And of course, we're in those colors, so you gotta have the fastest Oracle, Demonic Consultation. Just too easy. And a Tainted Pact. And both of these cards, again, have synergies in a food chain deck. By the way, don't forget about that. Simply because you're exiling all this stuff, chances are you'll maybe exile the Squee or the Eternal Scourge. Or Mist Hollow Griffin, depending on how you build your deck. Moving along to the counters, we'll start things off with the soft counter, arguably the best counter, which is Silence. Just to silence the board before you go off, easy peasy. Veil of Summer. Miscast. Spell Pierce. And Dispel, Swan Song, Flusterstorm, Mental Misstep, Pact of Negation, and the Force of Will. Yeah, we weren't really hard with the counter magic. Depending on your meta, right? There, you may have a stacks meta, right? So maybe lighten up on the counter package, make more space for the single spot removal. It just depends on your meta. It's a meta call. Don't build my decks the way I build them. If your pod has a totally different play style. And then we have our tutor package. We have Enlightened Tutor, Mystical Tutor, Vampiric Tutor, a Gamble, Imperial Seal, Demonic Tutor, a Praetor's Grasp. My heart hurts. It's getting a reprint, a Secret Lair, but whatever. Praetor's Grasp is fine. Amazing card. Maybe you get your opponent's food chain creature. Kidding. But no, yeah, you get whatever you want, whatever you need from your opponents. And we're in 5 colors, so we have all the combos. So maybe they have the other piece. Noxious Revival, a Yawgmoth's Will, some rituals. We have a Dark Ritual and a Cabal Ritual. I have the 2 rituals. They can help pay for other things, maybe a creature, maybe the colorless pips in my food chain, colorless pips for the Eternal Scourge. Again, there's no food chain, there's no ad nauseum and Appearance of the Abyss in this deck. But again, it's just a meta call. Actually, I think my CNC is a little too heavy for me to get like super value on my ad nauseum. And maybe not. I haven't listed this on Moxfield yet, so I don't know what my average CMC is. I'm sure it's low. I'm sure I'm lying. I'm sure that an ad nauseum fits right at home. Our spot removal package. We have a Chain of Vapor, Abrupt Decay, Assassin's Trophy, a Culling Ritual, and Toxic Deluge, Cyclonic Rift. Toxic Deluge is great. You just wipe the board. I'm heavy on the creatures, but my creatures are really like some pseudo Staxy creature and a dork. I guess the turn I'm ready to go off, I'll just deluge the board. Or maybe, if it depends on the circumstances, I don't know what Staxy creatures the opponent will have. But I could land a food chain the turn before, let it play to the next turn. That's very dangerous. And then, tap all my dorks, float that mana, sack it to the food chain, and then deluge, so I don't lose my creatures for no reason. Whatever. There's a million things. There's a million ways you can play around your own deluge. Oh, Wheels. No Time Twister. Oh, wow. This is like budget deck, right? So there's no Time Twister in this deck, but we do have a Windfall, Wheel of Misfortune, and Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, no wheels. No Time Twister. Just want to fill up the yard as quickly as possible, if I'm being honest. I'm sorry I feel really groggy right now. It's kind of late for me. And I had like a really fatty dinner, greasy dinner. So like I'm really slowed down right now. Ugh. Our creature package. Combination of, like I said, dorks and ritual creatures and pseudo stacks creatures. A lot of the usual suspects. We have Elvish Spirit Guide, Simian Spirit Guide, Orcish Lumberjack, which might be hard for me to play around, actually. When we talk about the mana base, we'll see exactly why. To sack a forest, add 3 of any combination of red or green. Might be problematic for me. There are only 4 forests in this deck. Tinder date, right? We'll swipe left. And then the other dorks. Not all the dorks, not the mono green dorks, but we have a Hierarch, Enoble Hierarch, Birds of Paradise, and a Deathrite Shaman. All could be tutored up with a Ranger Captain of Eos, but let's see his other boys. We got Aragavan and an Esper Sentinel. We got a Dockside Extortionist. Good to have you still around, buddy. Dorothy Voidwalker, Gilded Drake, and Eternal Witness. I didn't realize that I had no solitude. No, not solitude. What's it? Endurance. I had no endurance this whole time. I didn't even realize that. So I picked up an endurance. Endurance has like some slick versatility to it. It's not just to counter Thassa's Oracle. There's other cool things you can do with it. So I picked that up, and that will probably replace this. No creatures from Neon Dynasty would go in this deck. The channel lands don't go in this deck. I'm in really, really tight 5 colors. And I need every single pip that I can produce. So I can't restrict myself to like single colors. Dranath Magistrate, Malevolent Hermit, which of course turns into Benevolent Geist. Just get in your yard. You'll probably pitch it with a wheel or some shit, and then just cast it in your yard. You know what? Maybe this will be the endurance. Maybe it should just be. So Benevolent Geist isn't shit in this deck. Once I'm doing food chain things, right? Because it's this First Sliver that I'm casting over and over and over and over and over again. Okay, so this might be a Grand Abolisher, or the Endurance. Probably a Grand Abolisher. Yeah. So let's delete the Benevolent Geist from our memory, and we'll just turn it into a Grand Abolisher. Boop. Opposition Agent. And then moving on to our enchantments, we have a Sylvan Library, Carpet of Flowers, Mystic Study, and a Mystic Remora. Our artifact package, super tiny. It's a simple Lotus Petal, Chrome Mox Diamond, Soul Ring, and a Mana Crypt. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Now, we don't need the, what is it? Oh my god, I'm really tired right now. We don't need the Power Blast, Sound Blast. What the hell is it? Grinding Station. Oh my god, I'm drained, dude. We don't need Grinding Station in this deck. Because we're in blue, we could just Brain Freeze instead. So we don't need like mana positive rocks. And all the mana positive rocks produce colorless mana. And we're not interested in that in this deck. We need the pips. The pips, very, very important. Another word of advice, building this deck. I don't see how you can build this deck on a budget, right? You could proxy your lands, but the mana base is really important, really, really important, and you just can't, like basic lands aren't going to cut it. You could run like you can still run a food chain deck on a budget. Just maybe the 3-color food chain decks. Right? Yeah, yeah, maybe just a 3-color food chain decks, like Okima or Corvold food chain. I don't like Corvold food chain. Or the 3-color Omnath, but First Sliver, no, 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 no way. It's not gonna work. It's just too color intensive. Especially now, I'm gonna slam a Grand Abolisher in my deck. So, between that and like Ranger Captain of Eos, that's like a lot of double white, and so our mana is all over the place, all over the place. And a budget deck, yeah, it can't do that. It can't fix like that. Speaking of lands, mana, we have all 10 fetches. And then all 10 duels. There are 0 Chakarinos and 0 basics in this deck. That is how important our mana is. Being able to just produce every single color immediately. Our rainbow lands, we have a Forbidden Orchard, an Exotic Orchard. Forbidden, I don't give a shit about giving my opponents whoever. I'll give them 5/5 dragons. I don't care. Mana Confluence, City of Brass, Tarnished Citadel, which is, I guess it hasn't fallen. Yeah, it's fallen in our favor because people use a Spire of Industry instead. And a Gemstone Mine. This deck is fast enough where I'll get mad value out of my Gemstone Mine, and it'll be just enough to get me through. A Gemstone Cavern, and a Command Tower. No Ancient Tomb. Again, I need the pips. Ancient Tomb just doesn't do it for me. I mean, Mana Crypt and Soul Ring are Mana Crypt and Soul Ring, but anything else is too much to ask. And so there you have it. You have your mama, the First Sliver. Oh, it's a 7/7 body. I just realized that. So, yeah, Cascade into the win. Very simple. But again, if you're building a food chain on a budget, simply just go for like Okima or 3-color Omnath. 3-color Omnath is probably the best. You have like Idyllic Tutor, right? So you still have tutors. Like Idyllic Tutor, there's the Transmute for 3. You have access to all 3 food chain creatures. Very simple. It's very simple. And then what a 3-color Omnath does, I think he just ETBs and starts pew-pewing. Very simple. Very, very simple. The only thing you don't have access to is a toracle. So, whatever. But that's still good. You could do Goblin Bombardment, right? ETB over and over again. But I think that's redundancy. Yeah. There you have it. Thank you very much. I'm going to sleep. Goodbye.